Hey everyone, welcome to my second newsletter. I'm going to be recapping the month of March, what I got up to, some projects that I published, and just a little bit more context as to what I got around to and some important points of my life and experiences that I feel like are necessary to share. So, through the month of March, I really tried to embrace the done over perfect mindset. And for people who are unfamiliar with that kind of terminology, I'll explain. So essentially, through the program that I'm in TKS, they really focus on wanting us to publish content that we're proud of and content that has high standards. But at some point, no matter how much research you do and no matter how much context you go towards understanding the topic, your first draft or your first proposal or your first paper is always going to be worse than your 10th one or your 15th one or your 20th one. So to kind of kick your imposter syndrome, I know I have, and for others who may be like hesitant to posting their content or their video or review or any kind of projects that you're working on, they really kind of encourage all the students to just post it, and then having it completed is better than it being perfect, because you can always reiterate and you can always go back to kind of perfecting it and getting feedback. But if you never post your content that you've been spending like hours upon hours on, you'll never be able to get any feedback. So while it sounds quite simplistic, I've really struggled to kind of get that mindset ingrained in my head. And I think it's because I'm such a perfectionist. I kind of have been throughout my life and throughout my childhood. And I always kind of thought that the more time I took or dedicated towards this project, the better it would be, the better outcome that I would have, or I would feel maybe prouder of what I accomplished if I delayed it maybe 6 to 10 months, or I don't know, something, an enormous amount of time that is probably ridiculous if I say it out loud. So that has definitely been something that's been ingrained in me since, like I said, like birth. Obviously I didn't come out of the womb doing high level physics and neuroscience reports. But even in my childhood and different extracurriculars that I used to do competitive gymnastics. So if anyone is familiar with any competitive sports, you know how grueling and how mentally challenging it is. And your coaches always want you to perfect it. You always need to, you have to finish your conditioning. You have to finish this to get it done, but it has to be perfect. So through like TKS and other extracurriculars, and especially what I've been doing in like technology, this done over perfect mindset has been helping me tremendously actually get projects out. And I'm way better at getting feedback. And I feel more proud of myself now that I kind of am posting stuff that maybe I could have I don't know, had a little more time to dedicate towards it, or could have been a bit better. But at least I'm getting the content out there so I can always reiterate. So that's kind of something that I really focus in this month through publishing my first research paper review in my research paper review series on YouTube. The link is in the written component of this newsletter, and I'll also link it in the description of this YouTube video. But basically, I talked about binocular rivalry, which is kind of like a visual phenomenon when your eyes have different visual stimuli, and it's the perception of how quickly your eyes are interpreting the information. So sometimes in individuals with autism, what I looked at in this article specifically, the researchers were seeing that binocular rivalry was kind of a biomarker for autistics in people that had autism. Granted, this was a very kind of small case study, and there's technically no autistic biomarker because everyone who has autism has different brains. That's also just similar to humans. We all have kind of different brains, different neurological systems, even though like the neurophysiology is most likely the same from person to person. With people with autism and ADHD and other neurodevelopmental conditions, they've been really struggling to kind of find a clear biomarker. So this kind of, in my opinion, I guess you could interpret it as a biomarker, but more so it's just kind of another thing you can use to kind of go towards finding a diagnosis. So that was really interesting. It was also Neurodiversity Celebration Week, which is something that is near and dear to my heart. I am neurodivergent. I have ADHD and autism, and I'm a proud neurodivergent. I'm also affiliated with the Stanford Neurodiversity Project. So through that initiative, I got invited and I also got commissioned to make a video presentation for elementary school students that are in California. So I included the link to that video in my newsletter, and it'll also be in the link in the description to this. And I'm so proud of it. It was kind of like a really kind of fun opportunity for me to be my authentic self, get creative. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to working with them next year. So shout out to Jonette. If you see this, thank you so much for taking the opportunity. And also thank you to the parent PTA at that school and just allowing me to kind of share my authentic neurodivergent self, which unfortunately isn't the case in all kind of settings. And when I was growing up, I didn't have those opportunities. So I'm really grateful now that people are embracing our differences. So yeah, and then like a side note kind of thing, I've been learning to just value living in the moment. And in last month, I talked about the concept of eudaimonia and basically reaching kind of a state of peace and also just kind of growth and kind of combating your insecurities. So this month I had the opportunity to visit Myrtle Beach with my family, and I had time alone where I was like just walking with right beside the Atlantic Ocean. And I really spent time alone, just taking in my physical surroundings without like external influences like social media or like other stimuli. And the feeling that I got through that is kind of undescribable. Like I'm kind of speechless trying to figure it out, but the greatest way I could like put it was just inner peace. My brain had a greater sense of clarity. So even though I wasn't that productive on the trip, when I came back now, I just feel a bit more calm and a bit more grounded. And I really think just being right beside the ocean, and just trying to relax and not let kind of my other external influences like work or some projects or I don't know, stress that I had, I kind of just was able to let that go and really take in the moment, which was something that I feel is not that easy in this day and age, especially with technology, social media, like I mentioned, and just being online. So even though I wasn't totally unplugged, I did kind of my own version of being unplugged. And I think that was really awesome. So I'm going to keep implementing that during my days in the month of April. And I hope you all enjoy this video newsletter. I'm having a lot of fun kind of getting this new style of content. So I hope this as well, like the last one. And if you want to know more about me or you want to contact me, I'm always open to doing coffee chats or meetings. I will leave my email in the description box. And if you have any comments or anything, please leave them below. Without further ado, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you guys next month. Bye.